So today I'll be continuing with my uh, schedule discussion and point spread prediction videos. Today I'll be doing Penn State. So mm, uh, Penn State going into last season was one of the most hyped up teams. Mm, they were supposed to have a really good chance to finally win a really big game against mm, either Ohio State or Michigan, or even beat both of them. Uh, mm, but it didn't happen. Lost to both of them again, and then lost to even worse in the Peach Bowl to mm, my Ole Miss Rebels. Mm, And mm, mm, uh, I'll admit that I fell for the hype of Penn State last season. I thought that they were going to be good enough to win one of those two games uh, against either Ohio State or Michigan. Mm, When I did my own predictions before I was on YouTube for them last season, I picked them to beat Ohio State. Uh, but the mm, now I'm off the Penn State hype until Penn State can finally win a really big game. Uh, mm, mm, uh, I'm not going to be able to pick them to win one. Uh, and maybe this is finally the year that they do it, but I'll have to see it to believe it. Mm, And they were uh, partly so hyped up last season because they were getting this uh, five-star quarterback who was the number one quarterback recruit of 2022. Uh, His name is Drew Allar, and uh, so they were supposed to uh, mm, finally have the kind of quarterback to uh, give them a chance to finally win a really big game. But it's not just that he wasn't a good quarterback; he was terrible last year. Uh, mm, well below average, and uh, he's coming back next year, so uh, that really makes me doubt their chances of uh, being able to finally do that uh, this year. Of course, I know with a year of experience, it's possible that he could get better, but I'll have to see him play well before I can believe it. Uh, until I see them uh, uh, be elite, I'm just gonna have to think that it's gonna be the uh, same old normal Penn State team that's good and wins the games that they're supposed to win, but is not great and will lose all the games against the really good teams. And uh, uh, on my channel, I have a new name for their quarterback, Disaster Allar, mm, because he's so bad. Uh, and mm, so mm, uh, Penn State, its defense, which was supposed to be really good last year, did turn out to be really good, except for when uh, they played Ole Miss. Uh, they had no answers for them. Uh, and their run game was supposed to be uh, the second best in the country behind Michigan, and it was good, but it wasn't near the second best. And uh, their offensive line I had seen was supposed to be a top five for sure, and maybe even the best in the country. And it was good, but I don't think it was top five. And then uh, mm, their passing was just terrible. Uh, and mm, so mm, mm, Penn State's schedule this year actually is really easy. Uh, it'll give them a chance to get to the Big Ten championship game, mm, even if they don't win a really big game. Uh, so mm, in the non-conference, uh, they get two really easy wins against Bowling Green and Kent State, and then the opener there uh, on the road against West Virginia. It could be kind of tough for them, at least for a while. But if Penn State is finally going to uh, be a really good team, they're going to have to be good enough to beat West Virginia even on the road. Uh, and then uh, the good news for them this year is they don't have to play Michigan. Michigan, has only been really good the past 3 years, but Penn State lost to them all three of those. Uh, and then uh, they do still have to play Ohio State, and they've lost to Ohio State 7 years in a row now. And until I see them beat Ohio State, I'm gonna have to say that that's a game that Penn State's probably gonna lose. And they do get to play them at home. So uh, Penn State is one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. They have a big home field advantage. So I'm not going to say they have no chance against Ohio State, but uh, have to see it to believe it. Because Ohio State's going to be really good, maybe even the best team in the country this year. Mm, Uh, they'll be the best team they play on that schedule. And then uh, Washington, uh, they get them at home, and I don't think they're going to be near as good this year. I don't even know if Washington's going to be a good team this year. So that's one that you would expect Penn State to be able to handle. Uh, mm, and then the road game against USC could be tough. Uh, but right now, Penn State looks like a better team than Southern Cal. Uh, and those two road games in a row there against Purdue and Minnesota are games that they should be able to handle fairly easily, even though it's two road games in a row. Uh, and the first week off does come at a terrible time, really, in between those games against Bowling Green and Kent State, which they're going to win easily no matter what. Mm, Uh, and then the second week off doesn't come at a bad time uh, in between two road games against USC and Wisconsin. But still, it would have been better to have a week off right before the uh, Ohio State game. Uh, but this schedule gives Penn State a really good chance to uh, get to 11-1 this year. Uh, so now I'll move on to the prediction. So uh, if you haven't seen how I do my point spreads, go back and watch the Ohio State video where I explain it. But the games in the green are games where I think that Penn State will be favored to win by a blowout, 20 or more points. There are two of those, Bowling Green and Kent State. Uh, and then the games in the blue are games where I think that they'll be favored to win by 10 to 19 points, so not a close spread, not a blowout spread. And I see five of those: Illinois, UCLA, Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. Uh, then the games in the purple are games where I think they'll be favored to win by about a touchdown, 6 to 9 points. And I see three of those: West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Washington. Mm, And the games in the pink are games where I think they'll be favored to win by about a field goal, uh, 1 to 5 points. I see one of those at USC. Uh, and then uh, the games in the yellow are games where I think that they'll be about a touchdown underdog, 6 to 9 points, and I see one of those, Ohio State. Uh, so West Virginia, uh, mm, I do think that uh, Penn State would be an 8 or 9 point favorite in that one right now. And if it was a home game for Penn State, that one would be in the blue. Uh, mm, mm, and uh, mm, Wisconsin, uh, about the same as West Virginia. I think that Penn State, even on the road, would be an 8 or 9 point favorite in that game right now. And then mm, Washington, uh, uh, they'd probably be a 8 or 9 point favorite in that game right now. Mm, And then uh, Bowling Green and Kent State, they'll be favored in both of those by probably 30 something points. They'll destroy both of them without a problem. Uh, and then mm, uh, Illinois, Penn State should be favored by a couple of touchdowns, probably about 14 points maybe. And then UCLA, uh, they should be uh, favored to win by about the same, probably about 14 points. Mm, I don't think UCLA is going to be very good this year. Uh, and Purdue, they're not going to be any good, I don't think. Uh, Penn State should be favored uh, in that one by like 17 or 18 points, probably. Uh, and then Minnesota, they should be favored by about 14 points. Mm, and then Maryland, uh, uh, they'd probably be mm, 17 point favorite, something like that. Uh, and then mm, USC, right now, but Penn State would probably be a 4 or 5 point favorite in that game. Mm, mm, Uh, and then Ohio State, right now, I think Penn State would probably be a 7 or 8 point underdog in that game. Mm, So uh, that will be it with this video, and please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching another video, and I'll be making another one of these very soon.